What's up, boys and girls? It's your guy Radical. We are here with episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 already of Behind the Creator. I really love this podcast because I get to dive in to not only, a content creator that you guys know online, but a friend, a close brother in life. But for you guys, you'll now find out all about Daniel on this episode. So we have so much to dive into, but I want to first introduce our guest, fellow N10 member, DAGG. Welcome on. Thank you for coming on the podcast, man. Long time overdue.
Of course, man. Thank you for inviting me. Always a pleasure.
Hell yeah. I am so excited for this episode, guys, because ever since I started this podcast, I knew I wanted to get through all the N10 guys. And we only have 2 N10 boys that don't live in the US. So we had actually started the whole series with Linktree, Aiden. And I was like, well, there's one guy left that I really have to start interviewing. And it's finally time all these months later. Obviously, Daniel hails from Mexico. So I've actually never been. So I'm so excited to kind of pick your brain and learn all about the culture out there, what it's like being a content creator, just everything, and just dive into it all. But I think that's where I want to just first start this podcast episode is what is it like, for a typical ignorant American that knows nothing. What is it like just growing up in general in Mexico, where you are from?
Oh man. Well, where I am from in Mexico, it's more of the northern part of Mexico, right? So actually, we have a connection to the border in the north side of Mexico. So it is really similar to the U.S. Actually, really similar to Texas more than anything. We have a lot of that culture. Here in Mexico, in the zone that I live in, we speak a lot of English as well as a second language.
Okay.
So, and a lot of stuff, for example, a sandwich. We call it a sandwich, while in the south part of Mexico, they call it something like emparedado, which is
Okay.
pretty much sandwich, but here in the north part, we actually call it sandwich. So it is pretty similar to the US. I did primary school, middle school. I am right now in my second year of college. I graduate in 2 years and ready to start my life, well, in the workforce.
Yes,
And I'm
sir.
excited. Yeah. So,
And with that being the general side of things, what is it like being, trying to pursue content creation and all else? You can even talk about what you're doing in school, in college. But what's it like
yeah.
pursuing, well, let's start with being a content creator. What's it like trying to be a content creator in Mexico? I think the biggest question is, do you feel like there's actually a community there? Like, I've seen your videos, as has everyone else, where you go to a game line and there's a huge line. So clearly there's gamers out in Mexico. But what about content creators? Do you feel like you can collaborate with people, or there's a community, a supportive community, opportunities? Or do you kind of feel like you're just kind of like, your content creator friends are up in the US and you're like kind of on like an island all by yourself?
Oh, actually, that's a really good question. So, growing up, I always watched American YouTube videos. I grew up watching Smosh, popular MMOs, all
Yeah.
these American content creators. That's what I grew on, and that was my inspiration. Alex CND, when he was in his prime, that was like the major push for me to pursue content. Uh, and I don't know why, but for some reason, I always felt that I wanted to do my content in English.
Mm.
That's always been a passion for me. I still don't know why. I think part of me still feels like I'm part of the US because, in case anybody doesn't know, I have double nationality, so I am both Mexican and American because my parents had me in the US. Both of my parents are Mexican. They had me in the US and then they brought me back to Mexico.
Yep.
So I pretty much was born just to get the American passport and then came back to Mexico. But some part of me always told me you need to create content in English, and that has its ups and downs. The ups, of course, meeting you guys, N10, going to conventions, meeting people that I watch and that I know speaking English. It's also helped me, for example, uh, In the future, I'm going to go to several parts. I think we're going to go more in depth later during the podcast to different parts of the world. Uh, and the English that I practice while doing my content has really pushed me and helped me out with that. But I do feel alienated a bit when it
Okay.
comes to creation here in Mexico because there's a huge community of content creators, Mexican content creators. Some of them even made it to the most recent Mr. Beast video with all those content
Mm.
creators that are Mexican. However, since I do my content in English, I don't feel as part of that community. I feel part of the American community.
Yeah.
I don't feel part of the Mexican community. And it's awkward because when I'm in the lines or in conventions here in Mexico, like talking to people in Spanish and then, hey, hold on a second, and grab my camera and start speaking in English, I get
Uh,
all these looks like, what the hell is this guy talking about? Why is he talking in
yeah.
English when
Yeah.
he was speaking to us in Spanish? He's clearly Mexican, so why is he talking in English? So I do get those looks a lot. And it's something that I've grown used to as the years go by. But at the start, that was really hard. In fact, if you go back and watch some of my earlier videos when I'm in public, I have the microphone and the camera, and I'm like very, very shy, talking like, "Oh, hey guys, so now we are at the Super Mario Odyssey line," and
Yeah.
yeah, uh, it was like that. That's why in most of my earlier videos, I also had some friends alongside with me so that I would feel more comfortable since they knew that I did my videos in English
Hmm.
and I wouldn't feel so alienated and I had like a barrier, a sound barrier so no
Yeah.
other person could hear me. But I've also done videos in Spanish when my sister played Final Fantasy Security Breach,
Yep.
for example. Uh, I'm not going to force her to speak English. She knows English, but her natural language, her first language is Spanish. So I just add subtitles, and that's a chore. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I have to do.
Well, I never even knew like that whole perspective, but that makes sense. You know, people are always gonna give you dirty looks and
Yeah,
judge you, and you know, if you're not kind of one of them, it's like you're gonna get the outcast treatment. So I mean, how have you kind of like
yeah,
overcome that? Like, I mean, you know, I know you say you just kind of ignore it now and like just do your content
yeah.
anyways, but was that all it was? Or were you just like, all right, whatever, like I just need to keep getting more comfortable and keep trying, or like was there something where like some event or something mentally where you're just like, nah, like screw them, like I'm gonna just, you know, do this because this is, I'm part of this American content creation community, like this is who I am, like I'm gonna just do it proudly. Like what helped you kind of overcome that?
No, it was actually just that, like that feeling of no, I am part of a bigger group. This is what I love doing. This is what I've been doing from the start. And one thing that I've done in order to break that barrier and kind of include the Spanish speaking community with my videos is, for example, in the Tears of the Kingdom line when I was first in line in Mexico. um, I try to invoke them whenever there was something that was silent with just music in the background. For example, there's one clip in which we were all talking in Spanish about how awesome our wallets were because we all had Zelda wallets. In fact, here's
Hell
mine, Zelda
yeah.
wallet. And we had like 4 or 5 different wallets. So I said in Spanish, "Hey, let's do this clip of all of us just pulling our wallets, showing that it's Zelda." Record that, and boom, there it is. And that's how I incorporate them. Like I try to explain to the people around me, that surround me, that are going to be with me for a long time. For example, the Zelda line, I was interacting with these amazing people. They were great for 12 hours, more or
Wow.
less. So I had to explain that I made content in English, but that I'm as Mexican as they are,
Yeah.
and that I enjoy the same memes, the culture. It's basically try to involve them in a way that does not interfere too much with my type of content. That's pretty much
Okay.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's, it takes a lot of bravery, consistency, and courage to just keep doing it, and that's cool that, you
Yeah.
still found ways to work in your friends and the community members. Like, it's just the best way to not only grow as a content creator, but, grow as a person. Like, you're just making more connections and having all that experience, so I can see all the
No, yeah,
positives.
and that's why whenever I come with you guys to a convention, it's like, "Oh, freedom! I can finally not feel uncomfortable speaking English. I am
Damn,
free."
damn.
No, yeah, that's a rare feeling. Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure, I don't know what the exact number is in the world, but like being an actual dual citizen with double nationality, like clearly you have the, tension of like, oh, I want to speak English, but I have to do this, and vice versa, I'm sure. But do you see like any positives to also being able to be a part of both communities? Like how does that work for you? Like, being born in the US, having a US passport, but growing up here in Mexico, do you find yourself speaking more English, more Spanish? Like, do you usually lean one way, or you try to just balance it all?
Oh, I definitely speak more Spanish than English.
Okay.
I speak Spanish every day of my life. I mostly don't speak English unless it's for YouTube or with you guys. However, I do find something that's really interesting is that there are certain memes. For example, last year, also going back to the Zelda line, there was this really popular song here in Mexico related to the Lane of Zelda called Dale Zelda Dale, which was like kind of like a cumbia but Zelda related, and it made all Latin America was listening to that song, and I managed to incorporate that not only to my Zelda line video but also to my 2023 recap video. I also added an orchestral version. So if you know, you know, and I can also bring some very different Mexican stuff happening while here in Mexico to audience members from the US.
Mm-hmm.
For example, in my city, they did a Super Mario Bros. Movie 7-Eleven, and they
Yeah.
decorated the two floors. They decorated it with the Mario movie. So they had posters. The whole thing. They had the Mario Kart, like live action Mario Kart that
Hey.
you could climb on, take pictures. You cannot find that in the US, so I can do videos about that. I recently, very recently, did a video about Club Nintendo magazines. What are Club Nintendo? They are basically the Mexican equivalent of Nintendo Power, but they do have some differences, so I can bring that to the table. Also, in October, I am doing a video. I'm going to Mexico City, and there's a five-story mall that's completely filled with video games, manga, anime, tournaments, card
Oof.
games, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, all of that you cannot find in the US. In the US, you will not find a five-story mall just dedicated to geek stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that I can do from Mexico and I can show to the American audiences. So I think that's like a very important part of what I'm doing and something that I feel is like an advantage over the rest.
That's awesome. I say like you're literally the definition of like someone that's just like a hybrid. Like you're like, oh, I can do this, I can do
Yeah.
that, merge it. Like that's super dope. And
Yes.
just recently, you had been to a WWE event, which, as y'all know, I'm a big wrestling fan. But I remember you saying multiple times that like the crowd had done so many chants and the energy was awesome. And that's actually where this can be a very quick answer because it's more of like a general Latino community based question. But from the
Mhm.
outside here, in America and growing up, like let's just use wrestling as an example since I brought it up. Like anyone from Mexico or just that has, the Latino heritage is so proud to like represent. Like when you were at the wrestling event, like everyone was just praising Rey Mysterio as like a god because he just
Yeah.
represents that Latino culture. How do you feel like that's reflected? Like, do you try to reflect that passion, that like Latino pride in your content and anything else you do? And just like, how is it represented, not just in wrestling, but just like living in Mexico? Like, do you just like walk down the street and they're just like flags everywhere and everyone's like super prideful? Or like, is that like way too much? Like, no, it's not that serious.
Oh no, that's like we don't have some in some places of the world. Well, not in the world. In Mexico, we do have the flags,
Mm.
but that's mostly in the middle of the big cities.
Mm.
It's not usual unless it's September, which is the a lot of festivities, Mexican festivities are in September. Unless it's September, you don't see flags around that much. However, you can always, whenever you are walking by, you can almost always hear the Mexican guitar songs
Ah,
and stuff like that. And I do try to incorporate some of it to my videos, either by saying some Spanish words or just screaming some Mexican references like "Viva Mexico, cabrones!" stuff like that.
yeah.
Uh, mm, the Mexican part that watches my videos will understand and appreciate. And I do try to incorporate a little bit, but yeah, that's pretty much what I what I do.
Yeah. Okay.
I feel proud of being Mexican.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah. Hell yeah. Always gonna be big proud of where you came from and who you are and what you represent, you know? But you actually
Yes,
kind of
sir.
already hinted at my next question because I really want to, after all, this is behind the creator. We've talked a lot about your content creation, but I want to talk about maybe what Daniel is pursuing. And you already hinted at, the Mexican instruments, the passion there. You always be posting videos of the piano, and you just, I saw at one point you were dancing. Like, you just have all these other extracurricular, like, pursuits. And I just need to hear about, like, which ones do you put the most time into? How did those passions all start? Even though, you're going to school full time, you're trying to be a content creator, you have a relationship, you have family, like all these other life things, you still find time to, practice the piano, for example. So, like, how did that all come to be, and how important is it, in your life at the moment?
Oh, yeah. Let's start with the piano. I ever since I was a kid, I've always loved music. Uh, Pretty much thanks to my dad. My dad plays the guitar a lot and also the piano. So whenever I was a baby, he would come by and play his guitar for me in order to go to sleep and teach me a little bit of piano. He taught me the first song I ever learned on piano wasn't Twinkle Twinkle Little Star or anything like that. It was the Imperial March from
God
Star
damn.
Wars.
Okay.
That was the first song I learned on piano, and I thought that was, oh my god, that was so cool. Uh, but other than that, I never fully practiced it. I played flute for some years when I was a little kid
Yeah.
to learn do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, the basics pretty much. But other than that, I never did anything about it until middle school. In middle school, uh, I was very into Guitar Hero. I love Guitar Hero. Uh, but then I looked on YouTube because I have a piano at my house. I don't know, Zelda theme tutorial, and I saw that the way they work is that they are like Guitar Hero. The notes are coming down, so you
Oh,
can basically it's like a Guitar Hero but with I don't know 36 or more notes. Uh,
damn.
so that's how I started playing piano. For example, I started with Zelda and then I moved to Undertale, movie soundtracks, Harry Potter, Star Wars, Game of Thrones, Mario, and I started to only play the songs that really inspired me. One of my biggest songs is Neon Genesis, the Cruel Angel's Thesis from Neon Genesis Evangelion. Uh, that's one of the first themes that I learned on piano. Also, Runaway from Kanye West.
Damn.
Also,
Okay.
that song on piano. So that's like a passion. Sometimes I've been in very rough spots during my life, and sometimes playing the piano was my escape.
Mm.
Playing songs like Come Sus a Thought from Evangelion as well,
Mm-hmm.
which is a very depressing song, but it helped to get all these feelings out.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like a therapy to me. Playing songs like the Fairy Fountain theme from Zelda or Luma from Super Mario Galaxy. Those are songs that I am connected with from when I was a child to now that I feel like expresses a lot
Yeah.
of emotions, and I can just let it all out. And sometimes I'll be playing very aggressively with the piano. But yeah, that's the piano part. I've also played guitar for a little bit. I only know one song.
Oh,
That's Gerudo Valley
okay.
from Ocarina of Time.
Yep.
That's the only song I know on guitar, but I know a song on guitar.
That song feels like it
And
belongs to be played on a guitar, like just like you know.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Uh, one of one dream of mine is to one day learn the Dark Pit theme from Kid Icarus Uprising,
Okay.
but that's just a dream.
Yeah.
Someday I will dedicate the time to learn that. But you were talking about dancing
Yes, I
earlier.
really want to hear about the dancing.
Yes,
Cause I even off
yes.
camera, like just as friends, I still haven't really heard like almost anything about this. I saw the video and I was like, "Whoa, my man's got the hip sway going." I'm like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! Like, what is this?" I need to hear all
Okay,
about it.
okay. So I am starting to learn to how to dance salsa. So Mexican salsa, pure Mexican salsa. There are some classes that I can take on my college, but I never took interest in dancing lessons. I always thought, well, they were just not for me. I am more of a sports guy. Actually, I'm in flag football in college as well.
Okay.
I go twice a week to flag football practice. But yeah, dancing, it never called me. Then I met my girlfriend.
She changed you.
Salsa, she changed me. Salsa is her favorite hobby. She loves to dance salsa, and whenever I try to dance with her, I'm pretty much just
Stiff.
I
Yeah.
cannot move. I cannot move. I don't know how to move. I don't know how to dance salsa. And okay, I'm going to confess a little bit. I got jealous
Oh.
that because well, I had to dance with a partner that didn't know salsa as much, but she danced with another guy
Uh,
who knew salsa, and I was like, no, that's going to be me. So I pretty much I am taking salsa classes in order to be able to dance with her,
mhm.
and that's something that whenever I get married to her, I want to dance salsa at our wedding
Hell
in
yeah.
one point. Yeah,
Man, now like fast forward however many years out, I don't know. I don't know how many years out that wedding is, but say 2, 3, 4, 5 years, that salsa gonna hit, and I'm gonna be like, dude, I'm gonna be swinging my hips with you, man, just crying. I'll be like, he's doing it, he's doing the salsa. I'm like, "Eh." Man, that's crazy.
yes,
I
sir.
remember you like shadow dropped that video, and I was like, what is this? This man is a man of 100 talents. Like he's just pursuing another cool thing. Like that's awesome, man. That and I think you spoke on it great, which is a good transition into what I wanted to talk about next, because I know that we're all humans, we all go through things. So for you, you had been very public with some of the things you had been through, but that you need creative outlets. Like I think that's so key. Even when you were going through those things, you were able to just funnel it into the piano, or I'm sure you were sometimes able to funnel it into content creation, or
Yeah.
whatever else it may have been. Like at least you had those outlets to keep you going. But I think
Yes.
now, at this point in time, as we're recording this, you're definitely on top of a mountain right now. Like you got a lot going. You got a lot of future stuff that we're gonna talk about later. A lot to look forward to. We got the N10 stuff, the content creation stuff. We got an N10 trip coming up literally in a week. Your
Yes, sir.
relationship, your pursuits, your 8,000 hobbies. You're doing really good right now. But the game of life is a roller coaster. Sometimes you're up here and sometimes you're just down here. And that's normal. That doesn't mean anyone is, failing at life. It's just a part of it. So how for you, I mean, you did mention the creative outlets, but like what I guess advice would you give to someone that is just like they're stuck, like in rock bottom, they need to just get out of it, like as someone who's made it out yourself and now in a really good spot, like what are
Yeah.
some other steps you took other than just having a creative outlet? And yeah, just what advice would you give to someone that is trying to get out of there?
Okay. Okay. This is going to be very direct. Don't be afraid to ask for help.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be your family because sometimes family can be the reason you are down. It doesn't have to be your friends because sometimes also those friendships are the ones that are putting you down. Uh, one thing that when I was in a very bad spot in my life that really helped me out was talking to a therapist. Uh, if you ever are in a very bad spot, do not be afraid to ask for help. Having a therapist really helped me do a 180
Hmm.
in my life. Uh, I I am very thankful to my therapist. Without her, I don't know where I would be in my life right now. I don't know if I would continue doing content or continue doing anything really.
Yeah.
Uh, so that's the primary advice. Uh, do
Be
not
afraid.
uh, be afraid.
Yeah.
Yeah, to ask for help. That's really literally a life saving advice. The only thing that I can say. Yeah,
Hell yeah. And I
yeah,
think to play off of that, like it's also like be yourself, man. Like it's cool. Like no matter what you're going through,
yeah,
whether it's you name it, death, breakup, any tragic event, like that's all part of life, And you do, as Dag said, like you don't have to rely on anyone that's already pre-existing in your life. Like you can seek that help externally, as Dag did, and I think no matter what. Um, it's just so important to not lose your roots. Like I think it's really cool that even though you were going through something, like you came right back to content creation. Even if you have to put it on pause or put your hobbies on pause for however long, it's like don't lose your identity. Like maybe just be like, okay, I need to
yeah.
take some time and like fix myself. But that doesn't mean I have to start all over and find all these new hobbies and lose everything. I don't have to throw away my collection. Like you can still come back to being you when you're ready. And I think that's really cool that you were able to navigate it all, especially at a young age. Like you still only in college, so like, you got a lot of life to live, but you've
Yeah.
already had all those experiences that really help you out, man,
Yeah.
for sure.
Thank
But
you.
with not losing your identity, I need to ask. I mean, it's on camera right now. What is the story and the origin behind the crazy collection that you keep in your room? How did that come to be? And is it still
Oh
growing? What's the next big
man.
piece to add to it? I want to hear it all. Let's lighten the mood up and talk about this crazy collection.
Oh, here, let me just
Oh, he didn't
show
even.
the
He panned it
camera
to
a
more.
little
God
bit.
damn.
Yeah. So this collection, um, pretty much whenever my dad went to a trip, for work, he would always come back with a little figure or figurine. That's how my collection started. It it was either a Justice League Unlimited action figure. I still remember the Flash, Superman, Batman, to the more obscure characters. I think one was Lars Fleece, which was like a Lantern Corps guy. I don't
Okay.
know.
Okay.
Uh, have all these different types of characters, and also he came with home with sometimes very small Star Wars characters that I'm
Mm,
actually just finished editing a short about it,
okay.
about those figures, but it will come out until August 8th or 7th, I believe. Uh, and all those stuff I never threw out. Every single game, every single thing that I liked, uh, I would never throw it out or gift it away. It will always stay with me. So it was like, let's say I started with Star Wars. Star Wars was like my first big
Mm-hmm.
obsession. Well, I just started, well, everything I see of Star Wars, even to this day, well, come to Papa. And then, oh, Nintendo, come to Papa. I don't switch, like, I don't have faces. It's not like Star Wars face, then Nintendo face. No, they keep adding. I keep
Yeah.
grabbing them. So they never leave, and I just keep adding stuff to my collection. I never let them go. So that's how it got this big, pretty much because I never threw anything away or gave anything away. I always preserved it. My dad is also a collector.
Oh, okay.
Uh, he has the original complete edition of the first line of Star Wars figures, Power of the Force,
Wow.
by Kenner. So he has the complete collection, and he also has the subsequent collection, the 30th anniversary collection, all those
Dang.
different collections. Episode 3 collection, he has them all. So I think part of those genes came to me.
Mm-hmm.
I have it way more organized than him, but yeah. So that's how the collection started. The next big piece that I'm now saving money for has to be the Switch 2.
Yup. It's gonna be
Uh,
right there, right where that left shoulder is with all those consoles. I see
yes, sir. Actually, here, let me move a little bit. Oh, you can barely see it.
it.
Those are all my consoles from the
Oh, okay, okay,
NES
okay.
to the Wii U, and
Yeah.
then I have my Switch and PS5 over here.
I was too
But
distracted by the
yeah,
boxes, but I see how the collection's forming now. I see the layout.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So I just keep adding and adding and adding. So the next big piece. Oh wait, no, it's actually going to be the Zelda Lego. Actually,
Ah, the
the Deku
Legos.
Tree,
Yes, yes, yes.
the Lego Deku Tree. That's going to be the next huge part of the collection.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
forgot about that. Yeah.
okay. So we know it's coming next, but presently, if you're bringing someone on like a tour of your house or your room, and you just want them, like, you want to flex a little bit, you want them to see that one thing in your collection. What is the like crown jewel right now in the collection? I don't know if you've thought about it, because I'm sure you have many things that you love, but if there's like, if your friend left and you're like, damn, he didn't see this, like, what would that piece be?
Well, I have two
Okay.
two pieces of.
We can allow
Uh,
two.
we can yeah. I can you can put pictures in here that I will send you later. I have a picture with my dad and my little brother with Stan Lee. That's actually
Yes.
autographed. So I have a picture with Stan Lee. I actually met Stan Lee, and that's one of the crown jewels of my collection. Actually, meeting the creator of Spider-Man, the Fantastic Four, the X-Men, the father of Marvel.
Yep.
That's one of the big pieces in my collection, and also my Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
Ah, yes. Yes.
If you I think this have appeared in your videos, but pretty much my Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is the case that I take with me to every con that I go, especially in the US, that has all these signatures from big creators. So we have Celtic, Alex C&D, all of the N10 members, Doom, Boogie, all Wood from Beat 'em Ups, all these great big content creators, and I have them all in one Switch case. So that's one of my most personal items, and one of the ones that I feel the most proud of.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I mean, I like that your
And
two picks are personal.
yeah, and also a third one that I forgot. I have a Mr. Beast signed shirt.
Oh, shit. Is that from one of his giveaways?
Yeah, from the 40 million, the
Wow.
one that he did.
Uh-huh. Okay.
So I have a Mr. Beast signed T-shirt.
Damn, okay.
Yeah.
And then I guess one last follow-up question, but then I do want to get moving.
Mhm.
You're a big man of Legos. You talked about the Zelda Lego. What in the collection took the most amount of time to build? I assume it's a Lego, but it could be something else. But I think it's the, what, you have the Commander Cody. It looks like you have a couple stars?
Oh,
Star
Commander,
Wars?
Com-
Or Rex.
Commander
Or is it Cody?
Rex,
Rex.
Vader. No, actually, I used to have a lot more Legos when I was younger,
Uh,
but when I moved, they all broke down,
uh,
and I could never repair them. So I had some of crazy Lord of the Rings sets.
damn.
I had some crazy Ninjago set, the Millennium Falcon.
That's big.
I had the Bat Cave. All these amazing, huge Lego sets. The Ninjago Dojo, but they broke down. But until now, today, um, maybe this chair was the thing that took the most to build.
Yo, don't disrespect the chairs, man. That should take some elbow grease and some work. I hear you, man.
Yeah. No, but other than that, it was probably the Captain Rex
Captain
one.
Rex. Okay, okay.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you gave me a reminder of one last thing I wanted to ask about this collection. You talked about moving. So have you
Yep.
had to, like, I don't know how long you've been in this current room, but has the collection mainly like lived and grown in this room? And then my follow-up question would be, as you're getting older, you're probably gonna want to move and shit. How much are you not looking forward to having to move this collection when you do move one day?
Has been a talking point a lot. So whenever I move, it will probably be a much smaller space than the one I have now. So I don't know how much I'm going to take with me for the time being.
Mm,
I want to keep most of it as much as possible, but maybe someday I'll have to move the video games only for the time being. I do want to have, whenever I have my own house, have like this bad cape that behind a bookcase, you open it
hell
and it's the
yeah.
entire game room with all the games, all the figures, the statues, everything. I want that. That's like one of my life goals, to have that game room that's behind a bookshelf.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, the collection has mainly grown here. I have some pictures in my Instagram from 2017, 2018, when it was just one single uh, row or line, column of like 5 games. And they've all grown since in this collection. And every pre-order bonus, every time I go to a convention and they have a $5 Nintendo junk, I buy it and I add it. The freaking Nintendo cereal, the Mario cereal,
Yep.
the Minecraft cereal, they are all here. And of course, I have some other expensive stuff. For example, some of the Knights of the Zodiac figures that I have back here. One was 5,000 pesos, which is around, I want to say, $200
Damn.
or less.
Okay.
More or less, yeah. So from small items, $5 items, to huge items, they are all just keep stacking up over time. I fear that when I have to move, I don't know how much is going to stay with me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to sell it. It's going to probably stay in this house, my parents' house. And whenever I have that big gaming room, I'm going to move all the stuff
Yeah. Okay.
back
Okay. So
to
it'll be
me.
in like
Yeah,
parts, and you kind of have a plan laid out because,
yeah,
like, that's serious stuff, man. Like, I know
yeah,
how, especially a collector. Like, for me personally, I got a few things, but compared to some of these other N10 boys, man, I'm like probably bottom of the barrel. I have probably the smallest collection in the group, but I know for the just collectors in general, like, those are your babies. Like, that's like your life's work. You've collected everything. It represents some of your favorite movies, your favorite TV shows, favorite animes, favorite childhood memories, you name it. Like, you want to keep all that stuff. And I guess
yeah.
I swear this is gonna be the last question about the collection before we move on. But if you do eventually want to have it all together in this game room that you dream of, but as you do get older and gotta think about that, is this something that you would like to pass down to generations, or inevitably when you get old you're either gonna die with it or like sell it off? Like, what like is the end goal with the collection?
Hell no, they're going to stay with me. No, uh,
Bury them in my grave.
no, I do. If my sons or daughters do have this passion as well as I have, I want to share my collection with them and one day pass them off to them. Uh, I would hate for them to sell it, but if they need to sell it, they will sell it. But this is something that I want to keep and I want to share one day with my future sons or daughters. I want them to also have this sense of, because if you're a fan of something, you are belonging in a community. I want them to feel like they're in a community of all these different stuff, and I think that's something really really special.
Oh yeah, man. And hey, after that wedding, when you're doing the salsa and the kids come soon after, that's when you'll have to really start thinking about, you gotta teach them young. You're gonna be like, never sell my collection. This is going to you one day, okay? You gotta get that DAGG discipline.
Yes, sir.
But that's a future question, and we will finish the podcast with one last future question. But before we look at the future, I actually want to talk about the past really, really quick.
Yes, sir.
We talked a lot about, Mexico, Mexican culture, growing up in Mexico earlier in the podcast. But you became a content creator. You are so involved in this American community. You met N10. What were those first trips like, either N10 or even just any other trips you may have taken, content creator wise? What was it like, meeting these American friends, meeting the N10 boys, meeting whoever else, meeting these famous content creators at a con? Like, as someone, from Mexico, like, you have to literally bring your passport to come to these events. Like, you have to do this, do that. Like, it's a little bit more of a process for you versus some of us who's just like, oh, I'll take a train and be there in 4 hours. Like, it's a lot more complicated for you. So,
Yeah.
I'm just curious, like, what was that like in the past? How has it changed you? Like, just how were those experiences?
Oh man, it's hard to describe because if I want to go, I don't know, to PAX or to Nintendo New York or to any big event, even San Diego Comic Con, uh, that's 3 to 4 times as expensive for me than it is for anyone living in the US. It's just it the price multiplies 3 to 4 times because of the currency exchange and plane tickets crossing the border. Even though I have an American passport, it's still a chore, and it's awful. But whenever you arrive to that con, whenever you see those friends, whenever they cheer you up, it's life changing. Whenever we've done PAX, the trip to Rocco's house, all those, I feel part of a community. Actually, when we went to record the N10 movie, that was my first trip completely alone in another country. So that was insane, and those are the trips that, even though we're doing what a lot of people consider childlike, which I don't, going to conventions, it's helped me see how much I've matured
Yeah.
actually. So it's special. It's life changing in a good way because I feel like I've come so far and I've accomplished so much whenever I come to these events. So yeah, it's surreal.
And I assume was PAX 2020 like your first time meeting all the online friends, like the N10 boys and whatnot? Like that was the first. I know that was your
That
first
was
N10 trip, but was that your first time meeting like
Yeah.
online friends? Like,
Yes, it was
okay.
the first time meeting online friends. Not the first time at a convention
Mhm.
or at the US. Actually, a year before knowing you, I I went to Boston actually,
Yes, that's right. You told
which
me that. I was like, no. We missed each other by a year, but
yeah.
I guess the question I wanted to ask is just like, I ask all the N10 boys, and it's like, what was your first memory of like meeting the N10 boys? Like, how like you recall how you felt? But for you especially, like having to come all that way, go through all those extra hoops, like meeting all these just random American kids, like what was that experience like? First meeting, all the N10 guys.
Bro, one of my first thoughts, because we met at the PAX East Hotel.
Mm-hmm.
I remember turning the corner and seeing you and thinking, damn, this boy is taller than me. I thought he was a short guy.
You see each other's legs. It's crazy.
Yeah. No, it was surreal. It was seeing all these friends that I met online, finally meeting them in person, and they look taller, they look shorter. For example, I thought that Linktree was a fucking giant man.
Yeah.
No, he's a dwarf. He's small. He's short.
Oh no.
So, no, I mean, he's like right here.
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
thought he was going to be way
Massive,
taller.
yeah.
So, besides the excitement of finally meeting you guys, seeing how you are all like behind the calls, behind the cameras, like a real live conversation, one on one in person. Besides that excitement, one of the most surprising things for me was seeing how everyone was different physically than what I had in my head, and that's something that also happened during the pandemic.
Yeah.
Whenever I met friends from school that I met online and seeing them in person, it's like, damn, you're short. So
Yeah.
yeah, so
Okay.
yeah, that's one of my main takeaways. Yeah.
And do you feel like that first trip just like really helped you like mature, or just like having that kind of unique experience, like just the impact it had, like how monumental
Oh
was
yeah.
that for you?
It was as monumental that it made me not quit YouTube. Because during a certain point, many content creators believe, oh, hey, maybe if by this time I don't grow, I'm going to drop out, or I'm going to leave, or I'm just going to stop making content. I was going through a similar phase around that time. But then we had the trip, and that's when meeting the Bold Gamer, for example, of course, every Enten guy, and it was a feeling of ownership. Of it was life changing. I felt as part of the community when Hollywood himself gave me the Isabel plush
Hell yeah.
during PAX. I felt like, okay, this is my sign. This is my time. This is what I am supposed to be doing. This is me. This is what I'm going to do. This is my passion. And actually, I'm going to quote one of my favorite voice actors here in Mexico called Lalo Garza. He does the voice of Elmo and Gara from
Oh.
Naruto here in Mexico.
Okay.
And I actually went to a live TED talk that he did on my campus. Uh, Everything you work on, every passion, every project you work on, you will be successful in 10 years. If you work hard enough, you will make it. And as of lately, I've seen that growth with my channel.
Yep.
Of course, I've been working on YouTube for 7.5 years. I've only reached 3K subscribers. When people that just started their channel 2 months ago now have 10K. And it's hard. It's hard to see that all that though that hard work not paying off as much as you wanted to.
Hmm.
Uh, as much as you would like to, oh, I would like to start gaining money from YouTube, even if it's $5 per month. Uh, it's hard not seeing that. It's hard not seeing that growth and compare yourself to
Yeah.
the rest. But each project that you work on, if you dedicate those 10 years, you are not far away from success. And as of late, I've been uploading every single day. I've been trying to upload one long video every Sunday and then upload 6 shorts, maybe even more per year,
Hmm.
per week. I mean, uh, and I'm seeing that payoff. I've been growing still at a slow rate, but at the same time a consistent rate.
Hmm.
Every week I am gaining and gaining and gaining, and I'm slowly gaining momentum, and I feel very happy about that. I want to see where I am in 1 year
Yeah. It
from
could
now.
be
Yeah.
huge. You know, who knows? Like the only way you'll know is if you just keep it up and stay consistent. And I swear,
Yes.
this whole episode, you've like perfectly transitioned your answers, like, and you finished like literally with the question that I was gonna ask next, which you literally just did right there, because you're talking about this crazy consistent grind you've been on with YouTube, which I messaged you not long ago, and I was like, bro, that shit's inspirational, because for me, you know, I've transitioned my second channel over to the wrestling, but on my main channel, I'm just like, I have no idea what I want to do. Like, I've tried the streaming, I've tried this, I've tried that. I've been doing it for pretty much just as long as you've been doing it, and like I just wasn't getting that growth, and I've been frustrated. But then I've been seeing what you've been doing, like the consistency, the shorts, which are huge. I know that's been huge for the growth of your channel. And I was just like,
Yeah.
I love what you're doing, man. Like, I might have to start brainstorming and trying to, you know, take some inspiration from what you're doing. But the point being, you're clearly going to have a huge focus on the content creation for the future because of your daily uploads with the shorts and the videos. But what else? I mean, you can speak more on the content creation if you want, but what else are you really going to be pursuing? I know off camera you told me some big things are brewing. I won't say it because that's your story to tell or not tell right now. But what is coming in the future? What can we look forward to? What can we watch? Are we going to see more dance videos, more piano, more content? Any big crazy things? Like, what can we expect from not only DAGG, but also just Daniel, the human being, for the future?
Of course, just starting with content creation. For example, right now I am working on 9 different scripts for
Crazy.
9 different long videos. So for the next 9 weeks, I already know which are going to be the long video for those following 9 weeks.
Wow.
I'm also working on. I try to do a short film or something related to a short film every year. I started with Un año después, 1 year later. That was my first short film, followed up by Freddy Plush, and also A Galaxy Far, Far Away, which is a Star Wars short. Uh, Now I am taking a different step. This year I am not making a short film per se. I'm going to do a music video.
Ah,
Uh,
yes.
which which song? I will not reveal it soon, but let's just say that besides doing the video, I will be meeting the band in October,
Woo.
and I'm very excited about that. So I'm meeting the band in October, and I'm releasing the video before the concert that they're going to have. So I don't know, maybe something big can happen. I don't know. I'm hopeful.
Yep.
Uh, but oh, another thing content related. I'm working on a cooking show as
Oh, I
well.
didn't know that. Okay.
This Besides my regular channel, well, this will also be my main channel. I will also have specials. Once a month, I will be uploading a cooking video with a gaming topic in mind.
Okay.
Uh, I will not spoil it. I don't know if I will be changing every season. Every season is going to be 5 episodes long. I don't know if I will be changing the subject every season, but the first season is already set. It's already almost ready to start recording, and I will be uploading it during January, February, March, April, and May of next year. Why those months? Because those are the months that I'm not going to be in Mexico.
Hmm?
I am most likely going to spend the first half of 2025 either in the US, maybe in Canada, or maybe in Europe since I have my exchange program in my college. So I decide in 3 weeks. In 3 weeks, I can see all the options that are going to be available. I am stressed, I am scared
Yeah.
on making that big decision because I have to know where I'm going to study for 5 months, also where I'm going to live for 5 months. And it's just all these things that I have to get ready for. I'm going to live alone for 5 months, away from my friends, my family, my girlfriend, probably a completely different time zone. So it's going to come with its challenges, but I will be able to create also content very, very far away from Mexico or the US, which will be something really interesting. So that's the huge thing in my life right now. So I'm not going to be here in Mexico or maybe even America as a whole during 2025.
Yeah. Do you think the that will affect the daily content? Like, is that gonna have to kind of be slowed down or even put on pause while you're gone? I know you said that you're gonna make great content out there, but I'm sure you're gonna be pulled in so many different directions and trying to adjust.
You know what? I have no idea.
Yeah. I
So
figured.
I, I'm not going to stop. One thing that I really love is having my collection as a background. I'm no longer going to have that. I don't know if I will green screen myself with
Hmm.
my collection, or I don't know. I'll come up with something, but I will not stop content creating. Maybe daily uploads will change, or I would just use a green screen for 5 months and have a video in the background
Hmm.
uh, for daily uploads. But yeah, it's going to be quite an adventure. Uh, I'll pre-record the cooking show during December and January, so I'm going to have those recorded and ready to go
Yep.
monthly. But yeah, I am scared, terrified, but content is going to be persistent. Reactions are going to still be here. Maybe I'll have to wake up at 4 a.m. in order to record my
Uh,
reactions.
that's
I
true.
don't know. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be quite a journey, but also being able to explore. I don't know. Maybe I'll be in Spain looking at old retro stores
Hmm.
from Spain and bring that content to the US, or from the UK, or from France, Germany, Switzerland.
Yeah.
I still don't know, but I will be continuing making content. That's for sure.
Hell yeah. I mean, that was the big announcement that, I was like, it's your story to tell, not mine. But I think that's huge. Like, I regret when I was in college, we literally had a second campus, like, in Spain. And I was thinking about it, and I didn't do it. So, like, I'm so glad that you're going to do it. Because definitely, all these years later, I'm like, I should have done the exchange student program. What am I doing? But it's just, such an incredible opportunity to have new experiences, live somewhere else. Like, you're learning the whole time, so it's not like you're missing school. It's literally part of school. Like, I'm just so excited, and I'm excited to hear all about the experience, where you end up going, especially if you pick, the U.S. I heard Boston might be a contender. That would be cool.
Boston might be a
That would be
contender.
cool.
Yeah.
That would be cool. Welcome, welcome, welcome home. Welcome home. Your new home. But yeah, man. Like, I feel like we were able to cover a lot. Obviously, there's so much more that you can learn about DAGG and Daniel as a human, as a content creator, as a person, as a very talented, multi-talented guy. So if you do want to follow him and learn more, if you've this is your first exposure to him, which I don't know how. It's the first time seeing DAGG. If you're watching my channel, obviously you know all the Intem boys. But where's the best spot to, be able to see all your stuff? I assume it's your, typical Instagram and socials.
Oh yeah, I'm most active here on YouTube. DAG, just DAG YT, because there's another channel called DAG Productions that whenever you look up that channel pops up, which I hate.
Competition.
The competition, yeah. But yeah, you can find me on at official DAG on Instagram, or DAG bottom slash YouTube on X, aka Twitter, or DAG Zero on TikTok,
Oh
which I
yeah.
post mostly in Spanish over there on TikTok. But yeah, you can find me there as well.
Hell yeah. I mean, if you want bilingual content, you want the English over here, the Spanish over there, you want some music, some piano playing, you want some gaming content, you want soon to be some travel content, I would assume, like that it's all
Yeah.
right there. It's all right there. It's literally for you. And he does so much where he even gave me free content on the wrestling channel, man. Like I said, he was at that wrestling event. He gave me free content. I was like, this man is so talented. He just goes to everything. Like, I'm just so excited to continue seeing your journey. Even just with 6 years of N10, I feel like you've already grown so much, as have all the boys. But I'm just so glad that we were able to finally talk more about your experiences and what's coming up. I didn't even know about some things like the cooking show, so that's really cool that I was able to learn about that, as was everybody else. But I think our time has just about come to an end for Behind the Creator episode 7. Thank you so much for coming on, man, and sharing all your stories, talking about the lows, the highs, everything, man. I really appreciate it.
Oh man, thank you so much for inviting me. Can't wait to see you in a week and a half, pretty
Yes,
much.
sir. Another N10 wedding, and then after this one, hey man, you might be next up. You might be next
I
up.
might be next. Who knows? Who
Who
knows? I
knows?
might be next.
Who
Yeah.
knows? Who knows? But as it's looking right now, like if we were to start placing bets on which next N10 member, Dag's gonna be a heavy favorite, man. Dag's gonna be a heavy favorite, and we're gonna be doing the salsa dance, bro. The salsa. Hell
Yes,
yeah!
sir.
All right. Well, until that salsa dance at the wedding where I'm crying, I'm like, he's doing it. Look at those hips moving, man. Until that, until the next upload, which for you guys, I mean, hey, the next DAG upload is gonna be tomorrow. Until the next one, stay radical as always. Much love to you all. Thank you guys for supporting Behind the Creator. I definitely want to continue this series, get through the rest of the N10 members and a bunch of other creators out there. And yeah, as we discussed, if you are interested in learning more about DAG, watching his stuff, check out his socials, check out his content. He's got daily content for you in 2024, so there's plenty of DAG to see. That's all from us. Peace out. Much love, and we'll see you in the next one. Adios.
Adios.